Hey adventurers! Today I'm going to be doing a bookshelf tour for you all. As you can see, I don't have a really expansive collection in comparison to some other readers, and I'm pretty happy with the type of books I have. So part of this is also going to be you guys having the opportunity to see what I have and then knowing what to recommend for me. I have a lot of incomplete series, so if there's a series I definitely need to that I need to own in completion so that I can read it, let me know down in the comments, along with any books you see that I just absolutely need to own. Alright, so starting right off, this is kind of my historical fiction and nonfiction section. It's not all organized by genre or anything like that, it's just kind of how I wanted things grouped together. So here I have an old edition of Robin Hood. So this Robin Hood has a inscription in it. We got it secondhand from 1924, so it's a pretty old book, and it's penned and illustrated by Louis Reed. Next we have my two copies of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and then my Bronte sister collection, which I think I have all the Bronte sister books except for one, so I'm starting to fill out that collection. I have an old copy of Rip Van Winkle. You can't see the title very well on the spine anymore, it's pretty worn off. And then I'm kind of branching into my more modern historical fiction, so I've got Salt to the Sea by Rita Sepetys and Between Shades of Grey, both historical fictions. I have A Monster Calls, not historical fiction, but one of my absolute favorite books. I have Fox and Romanov by Nadine Brandes. I have The Complete Ruritanian Romances by Anthony Hope, so this includes The Prisoner of Zenda, Rupert of Hitzau and the Heart of Princess Osra. The Prisoner of Zenda is a really fun story that I really enjoy. I have Curtain by Agatha Christie. I have All Things Great and Small and All Things Bright and Beautiful by James Herriot. I have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I have The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I have Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Lightweaver by Thomas Lockwood, which as far as I know is a pretty little known book. It was one that I loved when I was younger. It's a really great story. I have the first two books in the Inheritance Cycle series, so Aragon and Eldest by Christopher Paolini. And I have the Hunger Games trilogy. I have Failstate by John Oddie. Quantum League by Matthew J. Kirby, which is another one of my absolute favorite standalone books. That being said, it's been a really long time since I've read this, and I read it during a time where every book I picked up I loved. Tony has also read it, and he loved it at the time as well. So it's been a while, but I remember absolutely loving that story. I have The Time Quartet by Madeleine L'Engle, which is the Wrinkle in Time series, and I have The Giver Quartet by Lois Lowry, which is The Giver, Gathering Blue Messenger, and Sun. And then down to my second shelf here, start on this end, I have The Kane Chronicles, the complete series, along with a really small graphic novel, part of the Red Pyramid, which is kind of fun to look through. I have Rangers book 1 through 5, and then I have book 11, which, embarrassingly enough, I picked up at a thrift store thinking it was book 1. Oh, psych, it's book 12. Yeah. Before I even read book 1, I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. I didn't realize it was part of a series. But I have book 1 through 5, and I have book 12. I also have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the full series. That's Lightning Thief is book 1, and I recently read these, which you can see in some of our past reading vlogs. I have book 4 in the Heroes of Olympus, the House of Hades. I don't know why I only have book 4, because I've seen the other ones and I've not picked them up. I know that House of Hades was one of my favorites, and I think I saw it at a garage sale, and I think that's why I have just that book. But I remember really liking that one. And then I have The Demigod Diaries and The Demigod Files, also written by Rick Riordan. So then in my little stack here, I have Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Guys, help me, I still can't pronounce that name. I have The Brethren Rise by C.D. Holland and Blank Mastermind by Rosie Mucklestone, which are both self-pubs. I have Rent the Brave by Daniel Schwabauer, and I have the first two books in the Weaver trilogy, The Story Peddler and The Story Raider by Lindsay Franklin. And then continuing on, I have the first two books in the Constantiancy trilogy by Frank Herbert, so that's The Whipping Star and The Dosida Experiment. I have Dune by Frank Herbert. I have a Rogue One copy written by Alexander Freed, which I have thoughts on that edition. If you guys want to hear about it, comment down below and I'll talk about it sometime for you. I have Ready Player One, by Ernest Cline. Glad the author's name is on the spine. I have The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. And then over here, which is kind of a nod to my childhood and things I love. So over here, I have book 1 and 2 of the 39 Clues series, which was kind of fun. Each book in the series is written by a different author. So book 1 is written by Rick Riordan, book 2 is written by Gordon Corman, and it goes on like that. Book 11 in the series, which I think is the last one in the first series, it has 4 different authors. Rick Riordan, Peter Larangis, Gordon Corman, and Jude Watson. So, as you can see, some of these are really well-known, renowned authors, and this series was really fun. There was problems with it being almost like a serial story in the sense that there was several different authors, mostly how they interpreted the characters. So the characters weren't consistent from book to book just because people saw them differently and knew them differently. So it was interesting. And this isn't a book review video, so I'm going to stop before I go on. And then I have book 1 in the 39 Clues, the second series, I believe. I don't know, I'm really confused on what this book is, quite honestly. It's been a while. So that is my main bookshelf, and this is what you guys see in the background of our videos right now. I have 2 empty shelves below it that are just waiting for me to fill up with books. So I may do a book haul for you all as well because I do get really excited about the books, but because I asked for recommendations of books to own or series to complete or more books by authors and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I have on the way right now. The first book I have is Dust by Cara Swanson. I also have Brand of Light by Ronnie Kendig, which is the first book in the Drosarin saga, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. The other book I have on the way is By the Pricking of My Thumbs by Agatha Christie. I also have Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys on the way. I have Shadow Academy and Dark Saber. Shadow Academy book 1 of the Young Jedi Apprentice, I think is the series called, and that's written by Kevin J. Anderson. I also have Dark Saber, which is another Star Wars book written by Kevin J. Anderson. Here Comes a Horseman by Robert Leporello. So that's the list of books that I have coming, and those will be added to my shelf soon. Alright, so this is my nonfiction shelf, and there's not a whole lot that I'll talk about. I have some music, some sewing books and whatnot, musical books. I have my nonfiction selection here, which is pretty small. I've got a thesaurus on the side. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my nonfiction. Alright, so this bookshelf is a little bit of a nod to my childhood, some of my favorite books that I read. I have the Mandy series, volumes 3 through 6. My sister had the first books in the series, so I don't have volumes 1 and 2. I have some of the Magic Treehouse mystery books here. I have some of the Boxcar Children mysteries. My sister also had the majority of those, so I read a lot more than I actually have in my shelf. And then I have some Disney fairies, which I'm kind of ashamed to admit how big of a part of my life these were in my childhood. Have another fairy book. I have A to Z Mysteries by Ron Roy. And then I have a few standalones. I'm not sure where these came from. They're older books, which I just loved growing up. So yeah, this is my nod to my childhood shelf. Alright, and I'm sorry if this shot is a little bit wobbly. Our tripod ran out of height here, so I'm holding it. I don't know what to think of this shelf, except that the aesthetic works really well and I'm surprisingly pleased with it. But I have 2 Tintin graphic novels. I have Before Green Gables, written by Burge Wilson, which is a prequel to Anne of Green Gables series. I have a few Nancy Drew mysteries, which I never got into Nancy Drew, and I have these and I'm not sure if I will keep them or not. I have The Trolley Car Family by Eleanor Clymer, which I loved. Fireside Readings Volume 2, and then 2 more of these books that I don't know where they came from, but I loved them growing up, so Amy and Lauren Between Friends, Because of Winn-Dixie, and then Wolf by the Ears. Alright, so that's pretty much it for my bookshelf tour. I had a lot of fun organizing my books, reorganizing them so I could show you guys, and I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've seen any of your favorite books in here, and any recommendations you have for me, because I am interested in filling the other 2 shelves of this bookshelf. I showed 3 shelves of the bookshelf behind me here, the ones that actually had books in them. I have a lot of DVDs and both movies and CDs in there. along with some drawings, sketchbooks type of stuff. It's kind of my catch-all in my storage space for books and literature and things like that. That's originally what I had all of my books in, and they were overflowing. I was double stacking them and I didn't like it, which is why this bookshelf came about, which my dad built me by hand, and I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like if you liked the video and comment down below any of your recommendations you have for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay warm.